girl the other day, and I was leaving the house, and she reminded me of something, and I was like, "Oh, thank you, honey. Gosh, I would be lost without you." And she goes, "You'll be okay." And it really made me worry all day. I was like, "That sounds like a future thing." That's not a good response, honey. I need you to say like, "I'd be lost without you too." And she goes, "Nah, I'd be okay."
She's like, yeah, they have GPS now. You'll be fine.
And then she said something else the other day. She's like, sometimes I start sentences and I don't finish them. And I hate that about myself. And I was like, I'm okay with it. In fact, I'd be okay if you didn't start some of those sentences. You get a joke?
No.
All right.
Cue the music. That's good stuff, though. I like it.
Thank you. Broadcasting live from John Lovett's Comedy Club to the freaks of the world, this is the Dick and Darren Comedy Podcast. My name's Dangerous Dick Spenneberg.
I'm DarrenCarter.com.
You're like Prince now?
Yeah, DarrenCarter.com.
Dick.
And Darren Carter Comedy Podcast. Get your jollies. Gong.
Thanks for downloading our podcast, whether you're getting it from iTunes, Stitcher Radio, GoCastNetwork.com, or wherever. Do us a huge favor and go to iTunes and subscribe. It's just one button click, and it's absolutely free. And you'll get our show as soon as we put it up, and it's a big deal to us, so please subscribe.
And if you listen to Stitcher, do a little favor and just click that little thumbs up and share it. Let it. We're tired of being the secret friends in your pocket.
Yeah, man. If everybody subscribed, this show would go through the roof.
Hey,
so
we got some new comments. That was really cool.
Yes.
And those are, they're not the easiest. It's not like you just write a comment. You got to kind of go to iTunes, and then there's like a couple steps. It's not that hard, but it's. Thank you. We got some new comments.
It is a little difficult to put comments because I don't know how to do it. And you've asked me to, hey, put a comment on there, and I'm like, I don't know how, and I try. I think you have to. Whatever.
You have to have an Apple account.
Everybody wants to. We'll get into that. But anyway, I want to talk to real quick. We're going to do a live show, our first live podcast broadcast from Flappers Comedy Club. It's going to be on a Thursday night. At what time?
We're going to do it Thursday at 9:30. It's going to be Thursday, May 9th. So May 9th, mark your calendars. Come down, see it, the live podcast. You might even get to be on it. So it'll be Thursday, May 9th.
And we're going to have some exciting guests.
And also,
we don't know who they're going to be, but they'll be exciting.
Now that we have the date, now we'll know that they're exciting. Maybe you could send us a little message, be like, "Hey, why don't you try to get so and so," and we'll work on it. I got some dates I want to say real quick. Ontario Improv. I will be at the Ontario Improv April 4th. I'll be in El Paso May 3rd and 4th. I'll be in Pittsburgh May 17th and 18th. Also Akron, Ohio. And I'm doing the Empire Theater. I'll be in Stockton in June 1st. So Stockton, Pittsburgh, El Paso, Ontario, and Burbank in the Yoo-Hoo Room with Dangerous Dick. It's going to be awesome.
Do you know what time that's going to be?
9:30. It'll be 9:30 on May 9th.
A Thursday night.
Thursday
it'll be fun.
night.
And you'll get to hang out with us, and and tickets will be cheap. So there you go. Hey, we got a couple of guests in here today, man. I'm really excited to have these guys on. There's a group out there called Third String Kicker, and I believe we have the guys. It's Alan and Danny Jordan. Alan, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Weischedel. And these guys make up a group called Third String Kicker, which you guys produce funny videos every week, right?
This is true. Every week we release a video on Monday on our YouTube channel, Third String Kicker.
And these videos are good. They're really high quality, HD, really good editing, got music, got special effects, and it's funny, which is really hard to do because if it was easy to do, I would be doing it. We would be doing it. Darren and I would be doing this every week if we could think of something funny and film it and put it together. But that's a shitload of work, and I've been in 3 of your videos.
Oh, can we cuss on this?
We can swear.
Yeah, you can do whatever you
Oh,
want.
fucking A, man. Oh, green light.
Well, I won't swear, but I just like to know that I have the permission to.
Yeah.
Look how excited you guys got all of a sudden.
Oh, super excited. I was still trying to check in. I'm not quite sure how to do that.
I made a note to myself, put in my pocket, like, don't swear when I'm on the radio.
Oh, really?
No.
That's like what your mom told you way back in the day?
No.
Good.
I think it's always just I don't know. I think it's like a good what's the word I'm looking for? Good habit. A good habit just to to know that you can swear, but just to like to
not have to.
Yeah, don't be like, okay, I'm gonna get in there and fucking rip this thing.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
no, I just said the F word, I'm banned.
No, I'm not gonna go Harlem Nights on it. But I like the freedom. Remember Harlem Nights? Does anybody remember that movie?
Yeah, Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
Eddie
shout
Murphy
out
wrote and directed it.
Shout out to Jeff Urea, right, in Ventura. We did his show last week. It was awesome. He told me, he's like, hey, can you get up early and come to Ventura and do radio? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. I mean, what's the deal? And he goes, I can't go on there because I said the S word and I got banned. So,
That's funny.
so yeah, so it's a good habit to not even learn. You know, once you start cursing, then you go on regular radio and you're like, it's gonna be great, man. We're gonna get shit faced, and I just said the shit face word, or whatever.
What even radio stations do they have in Ventura that are live?
I don't know, like some rock station.
I'm sure nobody heard it.
Yeah.
I'm sure the listeners aren't going down the road going, that's the guy that said shit 10 weeks ago.
You should apologize to any of your fans in Ventura. In case they're listening now. Yeah.
Do we have any?
No, probably not.
Yeah. Shout out to Keith Brower.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we do have one fan. Hey, Keith Brower.
Party of
and
one.
And his
He always
lovely
comes.
wife.
No, he doesn't bring his wife. So just shout out to Keith.
Well, they have a kid. She's got to stay at home and
Oh yeah,
and
I'm just kidding.
babysit.
We love you, Keith.
Yeah, it's good to see you again, Keith. Keith came out to
Keith
the
is
show.
great, man. He brings jerky to us. He didn't last time, but the time before he did.
Do you want to say why he didn't bring it?
Why didn't he bring it? I forget.
Because his wife, he blamed it on her. He said she messed it up. She
might be-
overcooked it or something.
She might be listening to this.
I was like, how do you overcook jerky? Whatever. I'm looking forward to trying some. But anyway, thank you to Keith Brower and Jeff and everybody up there at Ventura Comedy Club. We go up there and perform sometime. And now you guys come from an improv comedy background, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did Second City out here and UCB and Allen.
I did Second City and IO West.
What are the differences between these places? Second City is Second City from Chicago.
And that's what he
originally.
did. You did Chicago.
And then IO
No.
West is
Oh.
Improv Olympic West, right? What what are the big differences between these clubs?
I think the difference between Second City and IO is that Second City you start off with some improv and then it goes into sketch and it fuels your sketch writing. IO is long form improv. It's basically improv. It's true improv. You don't do any sketch at IO West or IO.
Yeah. And a little history. Dale Close used to be at Second City, and then he left and formed IO, and he did the technique, the form called Herald, and then that blew
The Herald
up.
is a long form
It's long
improv.
form,
And
yep.
it has a basic structure. It
yep.
has that you're supposed to follow, but then it's kind of whatever happens, right?
Correct.
What is it? The thing you're supposed to tie it all together at the end.
It'd be
Is that what a
nice,
Herald
yeah.
is?
That'd be swell if you
Yeah.
could pull that. Yeah, you do you get a suggestion, and then there's different games to start off. You do like pattern games to kind of get ideas, and then you break off, and then from whatever ideas you generated, whether it be a monologue or pattern games or whatever, whatever ideas somebody has from that, then you do scenes. And you do 3 scenes, separate scenes, and then you do a group game to kind of cleanse the palate.
Okay.
And then you come back to those original scenes that you did, and you do the second beats of those. And then you do 3 of those, and then another group game, and then you come back and do the third beats, and you try to put it all together. That sounded pretty good right there.
That's a pretty good explanation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, here in Los Angeles, there's a lot of different comedy venues. There's stand-up comedy clubs, which Darren and I go to. There's the Comedy Store, the Improv. The Improv, which is stand-up and not improv, is weird. That's kind of weird that they have that name.
That confused me when I first moved here.
Yeah.
and then it was originally the Improvisation, and they shortened it to just the Improv.
And they used to have improv next door.
Second City was there.
Yeah, Second City was there, so it was really confusing.
Yeah.
And then there's the improv comedy clubs that do improv, like Upright Citizens Brigade. We had Matt Besser in here the other day, by the way, and
IO,
IO
Groundlings,
West, Second
yep.
City Groundlings. Yeah. Now, what about Groundlings? How is that different from Second City?
Well, I haven't done.
From what I've heard, Groundlings is very character based and very writing based as well. So you bring in written stuff and you bring in your characters that you develop, and it's
Yeah.
more character comedy.
Now, so you have all these clubs that do improv comedy, and then you have all these clubs that do stand-up comedy, like the ones Darren and I go to. And I see very little intermingling of these clubs.
It is. It's tough. Well, I mean, it's a competition. I mean, there's schools, so they're you pay to go there, so it's still like a competition. So it's like, ours is better, So it's just like it's capitalism at its best.
Well, I think Second City and IO West seem to have a lot of interchange.
They
and
do more, I'd say.
a little bit of UCB as well, but Groundlings doesn't seem to mix. Acme doesn't seem to mix. So there's some intermingling, and they even share teachers a lot of the time. But
I'm talking about intermingling between stand-up comedians and improv comedians.
I don't know. Maybe it's a different mindset because stand-up comedy. There's a lot of writing. There's a lot of grinding. There's a lot of hard work. And improv, you do have hard workers, and then at the same time, you don't have hard workers. You have people that are just taking it for a class. Sometimes you'll be in there with people that don't even have any intention of doing it. They just, hey, I work in an office 9 to 5, and I just want to do something different. So you get a whole mishmash of.
Is it ever frustrating, like if there's like 4 of you on stage doing improv and you're the only one that really wants to do something with it, and the other 3 are just, I want to come out of my shell?
Oh yeah, no, it's interesting. Yeah, you can be on stage and someone will just kind of go off.
That might be at the more beginning classes.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I'm not perfect either. But you'll be up there and someone will just kind of go off on a thing, and you're like, okay, I've got a yes and this, but I don't know why this coffee shop is suddenly in space and there's a rape going on.
Yeah, you really want to have to do improv. I mean, it's more frustrating than stand-up comedy because at least you come in there with your list of things that you want to do. With improv, it's like you don't know if it's going to be a good show. You might only have, I mean, if you read the book, what is it, Truth and Comedy, it talked about, there's really, even Chris Farley is like, you really don't have that many good shows. I mean, people may be laughing at you, but you know if they're good or not. And so it can be hard.
Yeah, here's my theory about why improv comedy works. I think that when the audience knows, here's the thing. The audience thinks they know when you're improvising as a stand-up comedian and when you're doing prepared material. And if they think you're doing prepared material, it better be really, really good. Like they expect a home run with every punchline.
Yep.
But if they think you're improvising, like doing crowd work, talking to somebody in the crowd, they're much more willing to give up the laughter. Even if you just take a swing or a check swing, to use a baseball reference, they're willing to give up the laugh. Whereas if it's a prepared joke, they expect a home run. So when you go to an improv show, because I used to do improv in San Diego, when you go to an improv show, it's called an improv show. And then you come in there and you have a guy come out and they go, hey, we're going to improvise. And we're, in fact, going to ask for suggestions from the audience. And the audience thinks, wow, we're making it really hard on them because we're giving them suggestions. When in reality, that's a trick because you're actually making it easier on them, I think. Like if I say do a scene, you'd be like, what? But if I said you're a doctor at the hospital, go, you'd be like, okay, and you'd go right into it.
Yeah.
So they're not making it harder by giving you a suggestion; they're making it easier.
Well, they all, yeah. I mean, usually you get like one word. You're like, and they'll say banana. I'm like, all right. So then you just, and then you try to A to C that, so you don't just come out and like, this banana's good. You try to.
Yeah, I mean, the suggestion's not like a competition or proving thing. It's a great starting point for the audience and for the performer. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. It's like, oh, okay, they took my suggestion, they made it come alive. So it's not just. We're proving it. It's just like it's kind of a connection. When you make that suggestion, when I say banana and you start doing it, we have a connection already. It's like, oh, they took my suggestion and made it come alive. So it's just kind of this living thing. It's part of the improv.
And to get back to what you're saying, that's the truth about when you're like, we used to, me and this other guy used to do a 2-man show, and we'd watch our shows afterwards, and we thought we did pretty well. And when you watch it, it's like it's not as funny to you. Like the crowd's laughing, but it's like, because that context is removed. That's why in our sketches, we don't really do much improv. I mean, we'll do a little bit, but mostly it's all written, and, we'll improvise when we're writing it.
It usually falls apart horribly when we try to improvise.
Yeah, well, I mean, not that it's not funny, but even like, I don't want to, like, if you watch Judd Apatow movies, I mean, they're funny. Yeah. But you can tell when he just lets the camera roll and they're improvising, and it literally, like, the story actually kind of suffers a little bit. I don't want to be a jerk, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you watch this, what was the last one? This is 40? You can, like, the story kind of stops, and it's just watch this person tell jokes, which is funny, and a lot of times it's really funny, but like, it doesn't, especially on the internet.
I think it's a mistake of somebody I don't want to blame somebody like an editor or something. It's just like, because there's a difference between improvising and listing off funny things, and sometimes they include the list, so you can tell that they're just listing.
You know how I know you're gay? That thing, that bit from the Judd Apatow movie, that was all improvised. And they just did a bunch. You know how I know you're gay? You do this. You know how you.
And it's funny.
And they went back and forth. Yeah, it turned out to be one of the things that people remember about the movie.
It's super funny, but for someone especially on the internet, it's got to be so quick. We can't like even really do that because we got to tell the story. So if we're like just going off on bits, then the story's not completed. Yeah. I'm really making it sound complicated what we do. We sound like brain surgeons.
I think it is complicated what you do because Darren and I have talked about doing funny videos and sketches like that. And I mean, I don't even know how you write a sketch. Do you?
No.
that pregnant pause gave me my answer.
Like, no, what I would do is if I had the idea, like if you have an idea, like, okay, I'm going to write this down, then you would, I mean, are you mean like literally like go to the computer and
Well, I'm good at coming up with a general idea for a sketch, but that's not enough. That's not nearly enough. That's enough to start, I guess.
Like, okay, walk us through that. Let's say you have a funny idea. And then
you guys never done sketch writing?
No.
Not really. Mostly stand-up.
I'm surprised.
I mean, I did earlier, then I was like, there's no... See, when I was passionate about that, it was harder to get a camera and all that crap and stuff. So, and now I think it's a little easier, right?
Darren has been on a lot of TV shows where he was funny, but that was written for you, right?
Yeah.
They didn't just bring you in and say, wow, Darren's funny, let's just let it roll.
I would write sketches. I would kind of throw the ideas. I'd be like, hey, there's the idea, and they'd go for it, and then these other guys would type it out.
Yeah. So he's done stuff like that. But we talked about this recently. It seems like stand-up comedians don't do a lot of funny videos. You know what I mean? It seems like stand-up comedians are totally consumed with getting their next gig, going to that gig, performing. You know what I mean? They get their nut performing.
Well, also,
whereas you improv guys, if you don't have 10 guys to do your improv show, what the fuck are you going to do? So I notice a lot of improv guys form these groups like you have, Third String Kicker, where you're like, hey, we're going to get some talented people together and perform funny videos.
Oh, yeah.
And that it seems to all come from the improv guys, not the stand-up guys.
Well, I have to say that I am not actually very good at improv. I took the classes mostly as like an acting thing and just a branch out thing, maybe to meet some people. But I'm not very good at improv.
Well, you're good but when you have the character, like when you write something, when we shot something yesterday, and you can go off on that because you have the character.
Well, I mean, if I have a good thing on during an improv show, yeah, I can be funny. I guess I can be funny, but that's not what good improv
Let
is.
me jerk you off just a little bit.
Okay.
Right?
But writing is different. Writing is different than improv.
Oh, of course. And get back to your point about the stand-up. The reason why, too, I think that stand-up is it's so different because improv is pretending. You're still pretending and you're acting. And like I used to do improv with this guy who's a really funny stand-up, and he works on the Tonight Show. He does a lot of stand-up. And he hates acting, hates it because you're pretending. And he'd always make fun of improv because they go up like, "Hey everybody, whoa, let's pretend, let's get a suggestion," and he hates it. So stand-ups, yeah, they don't really. A lot of stand-ups, they don't like acting per se because it's like they have to act and it's weird to them. They just want to tell jokes. But improvisers, they go up there and they're not telling jokes. They're pretending. You get a suggestion, and now suddenly we're two Germans, in a discotheque, and we'll go, So they're already acting. So I think that's why most of,
I think Darren is one of the best improv comedians I've ever seen. He does a lot of characters. He does a lot of voices and characterizations.
Nice. Thank you.
And he improvises a lot. And like half of his act is breaking away from the jokes and talking to the audience and stuff like that. Have you ever wanted to do improv comedy?
I'd want to do funny videos on the internet and movies and television, but just to go up and I'm gonna go do improv down at this thing, and not really. I don't really. I'd rather work on my stand up and get that stuff going even better.
Yeah,
because
you can make a living doing.
Yeah,
stand-up.
that's what I'm saying. It'd be
Whereas
hard
if
to
you're
walk
an
away
improv
from
comedian,
yeah.
hard to make a living doing improv, right?
Yeah.
I think,
But what it does now, especially like UCB is so big, and Groundlings as well. But like UCB, you get on like the Herald teams. A lot of stuff is cast out of there now, like especially commercially. So there's that. But just improv itself, it's tough to make. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing all these improv guys. That's why I'm keep going to Darren. I'm like, man, we got to go over to iOS and just hang out. Because first of all, there always seems to be a shitload of people at these places just hanging out at the bar or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it could be because so many people do improv. They hang out there and shoot the breeze with each other, right? Whereas comedians, they do that.
They're bitter. They don't like. They're rooting against the other guy. I don't want to get a drink with him. Yeah.
Well, the comedians do hang out at the Comedy Store and the Improv Comedy Club. They hang out a lot in the bar area. But most comedy clubs, you don't see comedians hanging out together very often. I mean, not in big groups. But I'll drive down Hollywood Boulevard past the IO West, and they will be spilling out of there onto the street, just talking and drinking. And
you don't think it's like that at the Improv on Melrose?
I just said it was, yeah. It is there and at the Comedy Store, but nowhere else. Like at the Laugh Factory, they don't just hang out. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3. But I mean, you drive by iOS and there's 100 people in this little bar area. It's so packed in there, you don't even want to go in because it's so packed. You're like, oh my God, it's going to be miserable in there. It's so packed.
I disagree because look at Flappers. That place is just buzzing with comedians, don't you think? Well, up and coming comedians. Like the
little
bar,
bit.
the Yoo-Hoo.
Flappers has the Yoo-Hoo room on the side, and a lot of comedians hang out there. They're usually waiting for their show to be canceled.
But you know what? Here's the thing. The way you describe that, it's like, I hope none of them are listening.
Yeah, right.
But usually I know that they're going to be in that bar like for that midnight show, and I usually avoid that area.
Why?
Because there's a lot of weirdos. I'm being honest.
Comedians?
It's
Oh,
like, yeah, up and coming comedians. Or
Yo,
whatever they
list
are.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can avoid them. Describe them. List them. Yeah. Give us a.
Well, I don't remember their names, but But have you ever been over there and they just kind of like come to you like a magnet, and it's like,
Well, that's because you're a big deal and they want to talk to you. When I go in there, they're like, oh, another fat guy. I don't need to talk to him. But if Darren Carter walks in, they're like, hey, big deal walked in.
I always have the weirdest encounters on Hollywood Boulevard, which most people do. But going into Second City, I have homeless stories. Like I have back-to-back nights. I had performed a show. This was a few years ago, and I performed a show. And this is a story I always tell, by the way, for casting directors when I walk in. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Never mind. This is impromptu. But when I go in there,
Improvise.
Yeah. I go in. I was walking. I just got done the show, and I was dressed nice, and I was walking. I was on the phone, and I get this tap on the shoulder, and I was, on the street, crossing Hollywood, and I look, and it's this homeless guy, and he goes, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know, you have a really good walk. I was watching you, and you have a great walk." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Thanks a lot, man." And so I keep walking, and then 5 minutes later, I hear this yelling, and I look back, and it's the same homeless guy. And he's yelling at me across the way, and he's going, "Hey, get one drink with me. One drink. I just want to get one drink with you." It's like, I just got hit on by a homeless man. That's super awesome. And then I was like, maybe I do have a good walk. Maybe I got something going for me. But then the next day, I'm walking back, and it's cold outside, and I don't have a jacket on. So I'm doing one of these. I got my arms, in the cradle position, and I'm shivering. And this other homeless lady, she's got this leather jacket on. She sees me, and she goes, Hey, you're cold. You want to buy my jacket? $10. And I was like, no, actually, I'm going up the stairs. It's going to be fine. She goes, that's going to be the worst mistake you ever made in your life. And she starts just screaming out of her mind. And I'm like walking up the stairs. And then I felt bad. So like the homeless, they keep me balanced though on Hollywood. Because like I feel great about myself or I feel really bad about myself. Yeah, but I always have weird encounters. And there's a homeless lady who has the mannequin. You ever seen her?
No.
Oh, that's super creepy.
She has a mannequin?
She has I'm not a mannequin. I'm sorry. What is this thing?
Ventriloquist.
A ventriloquist. Thank you.
Dummy.
Yeah.
Carpal tunnel? I don't know.
Yeah. This is she just does shadow puppets, and it's super weird.
She doesn't work at night though.
Yeah, exactly. She has a clamp light.
Not a lot of shadows.
She has a clamp light right there in the tunnel. Yeah, and like you walk by her, and she'll just the doll just follows you when you walk by.
Holy
and it's
shit.
so weird. It's so great.
Well,
She doesn't even want money. She just wants to creep the hell out of you.
So that seems like a sketch to me. If you say the homeless lady with a ventriloquist, that seems like a sketch idea. So you write the sketches for these guys, or
We both write them.
you both write them?
Yeah,
Okay.
he writes most of
So
them.
you get this idea. Let's go back to sketch writing. You have an idea.
Let's pick a terrible idea so that nobody will steal it.
Yeah.
So let's
I'm
go with
staring
that.
at the-
Let's go with that homeless.
Is that a terrible idea?
No,
I think it would be a great idea.
It's a great idea. It could just go anywhere. It could go anywhere. So I mean,
Well, I got an idea. Walk us through an idea of something you've already done. That way, you know what I mean? You don't have to be afraid of someone.
Okay, I was recently in a sketch called The Hangover 3. Well, that one kind of wrote itself, though, when you think about it.
yeah. Well, that was an idea I had a long time. When I heard about Hangover 2 and how bad it was, I actually never saw it. And I asked, did they tell this joke at least at the end of the movie or something like that? And they said, no, they didn't. When it was like, why not? That's like it's basically the joke is everything that they did the night of went really well. It was like they saved an orphanage, they did all this great stuff. So I thought there's this sequence at the end of the movie where, John C. Reilly comes out and he's a monk and he's talking about, how he saved everyone and helped everything. But, they didn't. So it's like, well, all right, well, we got to do a parody of that since they avoided that joke. But so that, that's just a basic idea. But, it's like you're asking about writing. How do you write? It's just, I've never actually taken a writing class. In terms of sketch writing or anything like that. I mean, we've done Second City, but they don't really teach you how to write. You just do improv and then you bring in stuff. And I don't really, buy into that thing. I just, you find an idea and you start writing it, and then you just write the dialogue, and then it's a logical thing. What would a character say? What would you say? And then you just write it out. But to give you an example, the sauna fight, right? So we were walking.
That's a great sketch, by the way. One of my favorites that they do. I know you.
Describe it to the listener.
I know you've never seen this movie. There was a movie called something
Western Promises.
Western Promises, where a guy is in a Russian bathhouse, like a sauna, and the bad guys come in there to try to kill him, and he has to fight them in the sauna. So then they did a parody of that.
And he's butt naked.
Right.
And it's a
violent
it's Cronenberg, so it's like violent and since he's naked, like all those when he gets cut, it just hurts that much more.
And Viggo Mortensen has an average size penis.
Yeah, so it's like
so that makes it even more awesome that he didn't feel self-conscious about that. He just said
he just went with it.
He just went with it. Yeah.
He yes and.
He yes and
He's
that.
yes and with his little penis.
Yeah.
So then, so you guys wrote a parody of that, and then you two are having a fight in the sauna. I don't know. I'm asking you. Maybe it's too hard to break it down.
So this guy lives in this really nice apartment complex, and we were walking through it, and he was showing us all this stuff, and there's a sauna there. It's like, wow, a sauna, huh? Well, what if we, did the thing in Eastern Promises where they fight each other, and then what if your towel just comes off? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to fight you when you're naked. That's kind of gross.
Yeah.
I'll just wait. I'll wait you to put the towel on. And you just upped it from there. So it's just a basic comedy premise, and then you just explore it. Or you find a character and you explore the character.
I mean, this last the one that we just released today, it's called the Translator. This girl, I work at this coffee shop. I just want to kill myself just think about it. But I work at this coffee shop, and sometimes I get there at 4:30 in the morning. That's when we open. And anyways, but So we get she comes in once in a while, and she's like, "Hey, how come I'm never in one of your videos? Put me in one of your videos." And she's this really, really pretty Puerto Rican girl. And she goes, "I can be sassy," and she does that in line. So I was like, "Okay." So I just thought of thinking, well, what we need to, obviously showcase that. So I just wrote a thing where we come home and we're arguing, and she starts yelling at me in Spanish, and and of course I'm like, "I don't know what you're saying," and she's yelling. It's like, how can we solve our problems if I can't participate? And so she's yelling, and she's going to leave, and I say, "Stop! That's it. I didn't want to do this, but you are forced my hand, lady. Jose!" And I open the closet, and this Mexican guy comes out, and he falls out. And I'd kept him in the closet the entire, and then he's there to translate. And then, of course, she starts hitting on him, and then, and
They fall in love.
They fall in love. You have a really soothing voice, by the way, on the I was listening to this.
Well, I it's a mic that's like a half an inch away from my face. I don't have to yell like you do.
That's not the way you usually talk, by the way.
Yeah, you really-
usually
I'm
he
pretty
has a
loud.
voice that sounds like the impression that Darren does of me. You want to do the impression of me that you usually do?
Well, you won't get mad at me, will you?
No.
Okay. Hey, I'm from Kentucky.
So you hear the lilt in his voice. When he
Yeah.
does that. Alan usually sounds kind of like this, where he talks like this.
Well, in the Hangover video, Dick was in our Hangover video, the Hangover parody video that we just did, and he has one line that says, "What is it? He's come to collect for the whores." But the way, your voice goes, "He's come to collect for the whores."
He's come to collect for the whores.
Yeah.
He's come to collect for the horse.
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, so I've been in 3 of your videos. I love them all, by the way. And so this is what I've learned from watching you guys work. You got to have energy, high energy, right? That works. That makes the video better. I haven't seen any of your videos where you have low energy.
For comedy, higher energy kind of. Right? Correct me. This is right, but like comedy, like higher energy makes it kind of not real world. It's so you're watching a comedy. I think too. If it, because if you're watching real world, and then it could be a drama if it's not.
It really depends. What I like, and this is not typical of other internet. Other
especially
internet is just high energy, and but there's a much younger audience as well. But it's just I like good acting. I don't care if it's high energy, but it's usually speed is the most important thing. And sometimes raising the energy gets it to be faster. Sometimes you just need it to be. What's the most common thing that Woody Allen says on set? Is, "All right, great, just faster, a lot faster, guys."
Yeah, and it's like Alan directs all of them, and he's got a good eye for it, and then he can and he's good at directing. We come from we actually met not through improv, but we met through an acting school it's called Playhouse West in the Valley, and James Franco is the big name there, and it's a really good school. It teaches Meisner and
Ashley Judd,
Ashley Judd, and
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, so that's where we met. So we come from that background where so we want good acting. So that's what we push first, and then
every once in a while, you need a character. You
Yeah, of
need
course.
sometimes you're not the straight man, and you have to be a little crazier and insane. So it's, we were doing this a video with the texting one, and a girl that's normally very natural. We just said, all right, just a little bit more crazy, just higher. Just be a little more silly, It's this is really just higher and just wow, this is amazing, and it threw her off because she's so used to no more downplay, more natural. So it's
because most of the internet comedy is really, really wacky, and we try to be a little more grounded, I guess. But it makes sense if you think about it. Most people on the internet are 12-year-old, boys, and if you think about it, when we were growing up as 12-year-old boys, at least me, I thought Encino Man was one of the funniest movies, you know what I mean? So that was your humor, but when you get older, you're ugh,
Yeah.
And so that's what their humor is. So you see different groups that are really wacky and whatever, that's why they like them, because it speaks to them.
I like your videos a lot. I think they're really well directed too. I like the camera shots that you guys do. Is there did you just do that by trial and error, or is there a learning technique or anything? They always seem to have a little opening, a little opening shot that comes in, and then you get into the story, and it's a lot of fast cuts. Everybody's got energy, and the jokes just seem to be coming bam, 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 and then there's a big joke finish, and then cut. Did you just develop that, or did somebody teach you that?
no. I grew up in a small town in Oregon, so I had no.
Friends.
That would be an accurate description. Yes. But I had no access to art, really. Every once in a while we'd go up to Portland or something and watch a theater performance or something. So the only way you could get art is by watching films. So I'm more of a self-taught, watching a lot of films. And, that's just us making the video, trying to put as much production as we can into it, and cheating. I mean, I've never had free reign to do a video. I mean, I'm always cutting corners somewhere. It's like, we don't have time to get that moving shot of him walking in the door. I just put it on sticks and then, and you know, just shoot it. You know, there's always, and you know, sometimes you miss a shot. And you're like, I got to extend this wide a little longer. So as much as it looks good, there's always corners.
What's that mean? Put it on sticks.
Tripod.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like that lingo.
Put it on sticks.
Yeah, right.
Like, let me tell you a lingo thing. This is hopefully a funny story. I first met Alan when we were shooting a movie called End of the Road, which they've changed the title to 3 times. So that tells you its quality.
Is it called End of the Film?
Yeah.
It's called End of the Career.
Just called Beginning. They just went a different route with it. The Beginning.
Beginning of the road.
The middle of the road.
It's 1, 2, 3 Scream now, I think.
Yes.
Is it really?
For a while it was Spirit Hunters, and now it's 1, 2, 3 Scream, which I
Those are
believe
like-
is available on DirecTV.
Those are so 3 different names that I, like.
Well, they sold it, right? Now they're not even in control of the name, right?
Did they sell it?
I think they sold it.
I was supposed to get paid if they ever sold it, so
Uh-oh.
I hope
well,
they fucking sell
have
it.
to, it has to make money before they can pay anybody.
Okay, so please download 1, 2, 3 Scream so I can get a few bucks.
Or In the Road, or Spirit Hunters, whatever. If you find, Google either title.
Not End of the Road, because End of the Road is an actual movie title on Netflix because I have it in my instant queue. But
Wouldn't they want to do that then? So that they would
Confuse
try
the
and,
people.
Yeah. That's what we do with some of our video titles.
but you
Do you have a
download-
video called Gangnam Style?
We should, yeah. We should.
we missed 2 of the big ones. Was Gangnam Style
And
and
Harlem
Shake. We didn't do a thing.
Which we kind of hate doing, but we need views and it helps.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to harp on other big videos. It's
Well, let's get back to that in just a second, but I want to tell this story real quick. So I'm making this movie. It's in Idaho. We went up to Idaho for 2 weeks and shot. And we shot on a farm, and the farm was at the end of the road, hence the title End of the Road. And we're at one part of the shoot, we were out at night next to a barn. And the director goes, and I'm trying to help. I'm trying to be however help I can because they only had 2 crew members. So, and even though they told me specifically not to help because it's a union thing, they said don't help, just sit there, be an actor. I still was always like, hey, let me carry this, let me do this, let me do whatever I can to help because I'm so happy to be in a movie. So we're shooting next to this barn, and the director yells out, "Could you close the barn door a little?" And I go, "I get it, I'll get it." And I'm trying to close this big barn door, and they're like, "What the hell?" Looking at me like, "Well, you're a fucking idiot." A barn door is like a light thing. It's like those light things that open and close like that. They call those barn doors.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that because we were next to a barn, so I'm
That's
closing the
funny.
barn door, and they're like, "This guy's a moron."
Cut.
Yeah.
Who the hell is this guy?
And I didn't know any of the lingo. They're like, "Have you got your sides?" And I'm like, "Side of what? I don't know what you're talking about."
Ranch dressing? I always carry it with me.
I like French fries if we're
Seriously,
ordering
who the
lunch.
hell is this guy? Tell him to just sit there. He's got one line.
But you guys, when I've been on your shoots, and I've been on 3 of them, and I've loved every minute of it. You guys have all the equipment. You got all kinds of cool little cameras and lights and microphones and all that stuff. And I mean, it just amazes me that you put out a video every week. I mean, we can't even come up with a concept for a video to think about writing a sketch, and you guys have already thought of it, written it, filmed it, edited it, put all special effects. They got special effects like gunshots and shit. You can see the bullets flying back and forth and people getting shot.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Alan can come up with an idea just like that. Like, it takes me longer. And
Come
Alan
up with an idea.
Go.
I don't want to say it on air. I might use it.
Perfect. See, that's good. See?
That's a good answer, too, by the way.
Yeah, what if it's a good one? Most of the good ideas that I get are somebody doing something like that. I remember one. I can't say it because I haven't filmed it yet. But what's an idea that was? I can't say that because you haven't done it yet.
All right,
it's very it's all about who comes out with it first, sort of. But I don't know. What's an idea?
What would you have done for the Harlem Shake?
Oh, I see. That's the thing. Is like, there's nothing that we could have done. It would have been like the one they did for the Daily Show, which as soon as you think of it, somebody's going to do it.
What was it? What'd they do?
Oh, it was just him doing it, and then everyone disappears, and he's by himself. And then a lot of other people. One of the best ones I saw though was Harlem Shake dryer, and it did the thing, and the video's coming on, and then they just throw a brick inside of it.
Right when the beat hits, he throws the bricks so the dryers bounce around, and then it explodes.
Yeah,
it's super funny, actually. It's really funny.
That's a really good one.
I saw one that was too dark, and I was like, I can't really share this one, for my audience, but I thought it was funny. Josh Rencher, if you're out there, I hope I pronounce your name right. It was called the Last Harlem Shake video.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that one? And you show him just by himself, like running across the linoleum, kind of dancing like the Egypt, walk like an Egyptian, and then the beat drops, or however it goes, boom, and then all you do is he geared it up to where it looks like it's basically probably a mannequin, but it's just you see just him swinging. Like he hung
I
himself.
saw that one. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's
that,
great.
yeah.
I like that.
We hung ourselves, or you hung yourself in a video.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
many times.
That's just a regular thing.
There was a comedian that had just died, and I put a thing out. So it was the next day. I didn't want to be like, hey,
Yeah. Hey guys, check out this funny video.
it has nothing to do with my previous posts,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
You guys do have a lot of violence and darkness in your things.
Well, we have a lot of issues that we were trying to get out.
But is that like something specific that you're going for? You're like, it seems like I read a description of your group and it said darker humor or something
Yeah, I
like
don't know
that.
if we're specifically trying that. It just goes that way.
Yeah, it just goes. If you're unhinging it and you're not trying to make it happy, a dark place will happen. It's just if you're making things difficult for your character, then it's just gonna get dark.
And if you start it, you kind of have to just build on it. You have to, keep raising it. Like for your video, for the Santa video.
Yes.
Where it was the...
I got a story to tell about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the premise was... I don't remember.
Santa's a squatter.
Go ahead.
Okay, here's the video. First of all, let me just explain how this all goes down. So I get a text from one of you guys, probably Alan. Hey, man, we want to be in a video tomorrow? Me reply, yes, because I love their videos, and I totally will do anything to be in one.
You'll even close the barn door.
Yeah, I'll leave the barn door open, whatever it takes. I'm like, fuck yeah. He's like, you're gonna play Santa Claus. And immediately, I'm a little upset because I'm a fat guy, and I'm like, oh really? They thought of me when they needed a Santa, and so
Alex, Dan, I got somebody perfect. I love him. He's gonna be a star.
he doesn't even need any padding.
Yeah.
He's,
So I get
he's
over
too
there?
fat though. He's gonna have to lose a few pounds by tomorrow.
He's too fat.
You get trimmed. Yeah.
So I get over there, and they have no padding.
They like
for me.
believable acting. Too fat for Santa.
Yeah, the Santa outfit totally fit, so it made me. So the whole time I'm over there, I'm thinking, I need to lose weight. This is awful. I'm getting cast as fucking Santa. People are thinking of me when they need a fat guy.
And you're bringing your own wardrobe.
Yeah, right.
Bad.
Oh, remind me, Dick. We need to talk afterward. I got a part for you.
Yeah, we're doing a Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah.
Oh no, Fatty Arbuckle. You know the story of Fatty Arbuckle?
Tell us.
He was one of the most famous comedians in the world, at Charlie Chaplin level at that time too. And his career was ruined when I think he had a party and this girl came over and he had sex with her and she died.
Well,
I don't think he actually
He didn't
had
have
sex
sex
with
with
her.
her, yeah.
She just happened to be at the party, and somebody.
There's a great book by the writer. It's called I Fatty, and it's great. It's him reimagining. It's taken from his journals, Fatty Arbuckle's journals, and he puts it together. It's the guy who Ben Stiller played him in a movie. He's a heroin addict, writer. Anyways, it's I Fatty. It's great, super great.
Well, she was young. I don't know if she was underage or whatever. But anyway, this girl dies, and it totally ruins this guy's career.
Yeah, because he was accused of raping and killing her.
And he had nothing to do with it.
Nope,
he
nothing
wasn't.
to do with
Actually, I don't even think he was there at the time. He'd actually left the party. And,
in the book, at least in I Fatty, he was there, and he tried to revitalize her, and then there was this woman who's there who's notorious for just making up allegations.
Right, she was a madam. She was a madam, and
yeah.
and she ran it. I learned about this in one book called Silent Clowns, another and the documentary about silent films, like a 9-part.
And he was such a big star. I mean, you can't even become a big star.
He was an amazing,
like that now.
nice man too.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was a great
his
person.
story is so sad though. I can't recommend I Fatty enough. It's so good. His story is so sad. Like his whole life, about his weight and like his sexual, like he didn't even would even have sex with his wife because he was too nervous, so he would drink. And then he gets this happen to him, which is almost like the worst thing ever.
So what
since he wasn't.
happens
Yeah.
is that he gets accused of it by the tabloids and gets accused of
Because
it
the press in the 20s was as bad or worse than the press is now.
especially in Hollywood at the time, because
Yeah.
that's what it feeded off of. But what happened is that he got accused and he got sent to court, and then it just went through the courts for a while. The trial lasted a while, but he was completely acquitted at the end.
Yep.
But it was too late.
Too late.
He was gone. He was gone. His career was gone.
And then in the book, not to give it away. I mean, you already know it if you just Google him. But he dies. And in the book, he literally just signs up with Warner Brothers like a 3-picture deal because the studio still bought the actors and you made those movies for him. And he was like, he just signed it. And he was going to start a talkie movie or whatever. He's come back and the next day he died of a heart attack.
Wow.
It's just so awful.
It's awful.
But back to your story.
And back then, you could be such a huge star like worldwide. Like Charlie Chaplin was the first person to ever become worldwide famous from media because it was silent. So all they had to do was change those little cards that said what they were saying, and they could play his movies in China and Japan and Russia. And so these guys were worldwide stars. Like, and back then, people could only name 2 or 3 celebrities. So if you're one of them, I mean, think about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, poor guy. So Santa Claus, they send me this thing for Santa. It's in December. And it's pretty dark, but it's funny. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'll go. So it just so happens that on that day, that was the day the Sandy Hook tragedy happened, where that guy killed all those kids. So in their script that I'm going to be performing, Santa is killing children.
Oh, Jesus. Now it sounds even terrible.
Yeah.
All right, well,
So I go over there and I'm like, guys, can we, and I'm just happy to be there. I'm not in any kind of position to make calls or anything like that. But I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable killing children on the day that Sandy Hook happened. So they were nice enough to change that.
Well, I think we were changing it anyway.
We were changing it anyway,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
We was
Yeah.
like, we were already changed. Like, we probably can't do this.
Well, what it is that, so he comes in, Santa comes on, and he's a squatter basically. He's hanging out, he's eating the people's food. He's listening to their music, and then he's watching porn, and then he starts doing. He calls over a call girl. He's doing heavy drugs with her. He's partying, and then she ODs on him. So he's like trying to revise her. He like don't die on me, you bitch, don't die on me. But she dies, and then you cut, and the next scene is he's wrapping her in the Christmas present, and he's wrapping her as a present and putting it under the Christmas tree. And then so like he's doing that, and then when he's doing that, the owner of the house comes in. And he's like, of course, he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing in my house? Blah, blah, blah. So he kills him and then wraps him up in the Christmas present, puts him under the tree. And then the original script, the kid was like, Dad, what's going on? And then it's just a little Christmas body.
Tiny little
Christmas present. Which is a funny thing. Yeah. But of course, you couldn't do that with the thing.
But I learned a lesson about acting. You hear stories about actors who go to their directors and they go, I don't think my character would say this. I don't think my character would do this. And like John Wayne is famous for saying, my character wouldn't die at the end, so you're going to have to change it and whatever.
Well, when you're as big as him, you can get away with that, yeah.
So that particular day, it seemed like everybody in town was really depressed. First of all, it was raining that day in Los Angeles, and when it rains in Los Angeles, the whole town just seems to become depressed. And then the Sandy Hook tragedy and everything.
They're like, we moved here to get away from this bullshit weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cold, raining, Sandy Hook happened that day, and here I am dressed like Santa Claus in some strange person's apartment, and we're filming, a scene where I, as Santa Claus, piss on a Christmas tree, throw up, kill 2 or 3 people, burn the house down, and Sandy Hook happened that day. So I'm fucking depressed as shit.
I was so depressed at work.
I know, we were all depressed, and I was like, how the fuck are they going to make a funny video out of this? And I wanted to leave, but I told him I would do it, and here I am dressed like Santa, and I'm like, I don't want to be in this video. That's Sandy Hook. I've never been more depressed at work ever, and I just thought, there's no way they're going to be able to do this. And so they finished with me, and I left, and I went home and
drank a bottle of vodka and
all but cried. I all but cried, and I thought, God, I hope I don't, because I have jobs. You know how Darren didn't want to release a video because he didn't want to offend his fans.
Course, yeah.
I have jobs that I could lose if I do something too
And they're
offensive.
like, you're the guy that's in the... Well, luckily, you're not very recognizable.
As Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you couldn't see my face.
No, I mean in real life. No, of course it's Santa. Yeah.
So anyway, I go home depressed, and then a couple days later, they send me a thing. Hey, your video's up. You want to see it? And I watch it, and I laughed all the way through it. And I was like, God damn it! How did these guys make something funny out of that terrible afternoon of filming? And I got to give it to you. You guys really pulled it together. You really made a funny video, and you made me laugh. And I learned a lesson. Trust in your director.
Was one of the perks...
Trust in the guys who are making it and who know what they're doing.
Was one of the perks that Santa got to dry hump on a hooker?
Yep. Oh, yeah, he has sex
Yes.
with her, for sure. Yeah.
And she dies, and then I'm shaking her. I'm going, you fucking bitch. That's Santa Claus.
Was that part fun, at least?
No. I felt bad.
Really?
None of it was fun. None of it was fun to do.
It looked
at all.
fun. Because on the video, I was like, yeah, Santa's really getting it in there.
I mean, on any other day, it would have been fun. But Sandy Hook happened that day. I mean, I'm watching the reports as I'm listening to the reports as I'm driving over there. You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, this is not going to work. But it did work. You guys pulled it off. And so I was like, okay, I'm never going to doubt them again. Whatever they tell me, I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work, especially when we do one every week. And we just had to do one this last week where, unfortunately, the sound got messed up. So we had to ADR it. And then when I did the ADR, I messed that up.
What does ADR mean for people?
ADR is
including myself.
Additional dialogue recording?
Yeah, so what it is that we didn't have sound. So what we do, and a nice, professional thing. They have you put the headphones on, you watch the screen, there's a beep, 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 and then you just match the dialogue when it's coming out of their mouth. Of course, when I did it, I messed it up. So I got the new dialogue, great, but I didn't match. So we had to go through it and try to match it with their mouths. And I did terribly. I was working really hard, and I gave it to Alan. Alan almost shot himself because it was so bad still. And then he was able to do it and fix it up. But yeah, like the editing is the worst part for me. My patience is not very high. But I don't even know where I'm going.
Well, I'm amazed about your editing because you got super quick shots going back and forth. It's all seamless. The sound sounds good. And then you got special effects. How are you putting special effects in there?
Just a lot of time. Just well, I mean, it's time, but it's like so it depends on the shot. I don't know which one are you referring to.
Well,
Captain Hurricane, that one.
Like bullet flying in the video
the Captain
Hangover. There's
Hurricane
guys
one,
getting
right?
shot and bullets hitting cars.
Yeah, in the Captain Hurricane, we got this Olympic gymnast, and we literally Olympic gymnast, and like
Hall of Fame Olympic
Hall of
gymnast.
Fame. So we came with the idea of him being a superhero, but of course he's like bad at it, and but we have him do all this Olympic stuff. We got really good footage of it. And like Alan, like he's a better editor, and like I'm still learning. But like he spent 2 weeks doing like.
Well, I mean 2 weeks, but it's just there's a shot where he has to say something, and I had his chest glow, and I had the background lightning bolts come down and the screen shake. Mm-hmm. So in the first edit of it, the lightning bolts looked like crap. So I had to watch a couple of videos, like how do I do this? Because I'm learning all as I'm doing it.
So you go like a YouTube tutorial, like how to make lightning bolts for a video.
Yeah, and they're usually really terrible, and they were until I actually accidentally discovered a good way to do it, which was using optical flares and putting them inside the lightning bolts, which made it seem like the light was coming out and shimmering and kind of blurring it up a little bit.
And that's the thing, like a professional editor, they can probably just do that really quickly. But like you're learning it, like he's literally like we do this ourselves, so he's like learning this on the fly.
And they're doing it on a laptop.
Yeah.
It's not a huge bank of computers with two different things. They got a laptop that they're doing this stuff.
And for some of it, I have to do it frame by frame. I mean, maybe there's an easy way to do it. I don't know what it is, but it's like for some of it, I had to animate. Like the Bomb Squad one, when I had his hooks. It's a bomb squad. Where's bomb squad? They have hooks for hands. And
there's sparks coming out.
Yeah, there's sparks coming out. So to do it, I just didn't put sparks in there. I had to do a thing where the sparks were behind his hooks. So frame by frame, I had to cut out, so that it was behind it. So I just had to do that frame. There's no other way that I knew how to do it. So
we really need an editor.
Yeah, we really need it. So if there's anybody out there who wants to edit
and it's good.
Yeah, and it's free.
Yeah.
But they really put together really good stuff. Like that one with the gymnast, you had an opening shot that looks like it's zooming in and it comes all the way down and zooms over everybody's head.
GoPro on a stick.
Yeah, I was like, how did they do this? Did they have some kind of huge crane shot up here or something like that? No, just a GoPro on a stick.
You got a GoPro, don't you?
I do.
Do you use it?
No. I've never used it. I've used it once.
Well, we're gonna start. We're gonna change that.
We're gonna change that pretty soon.
But a GoPro, could we let's say Darren and I come up with an idea for something. You can't just shoot the whole video with that, right?
No, unless you're specific. One, the light. Because the nature of the camera, it's so handheld and compact, and you're supposed to put it anywhere and do like weird shots of actiony shots. It's all. I think the lighting stuff and all the color stuff is auto inside the camera because it just has to be able to change like that.
You should put it on your car and just drive around and see what that looks like.
We did.
Yeah,
video,
what's it look like? Is it
It's
good?
cool.
It looks cool, yeah.
I mean, we're not professionals, so like, if we had a little more time
and speed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we did a chase video where Alan's on a date and with a girl. Oh, sorry, Alan's on a date with a girl, and she sees this guy, and she's like, "Oh my God, who is that?" He's like, "They found me," and then he takes off running, and then literally it's just a chase. Sketch
Just a chase. We're testing out filming action, really.
But yeah, well, we had a guy who helped us direct it, and he attached it to a boom pole again. And he was in the trunk of our car as we were driving. And he was out the window.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we were getting the tires as we were moving. It's all
cool.
like easy things to do. Easier if you have like money. But for people like us, it's like
you just have to be willing. Basically, you can kind of get stuff like that. You just need time.
Yeah,
you need some extra time because if you're on a professional crew, it will take time, but it won't take as much because you have all the equipment. But if you want to have a video that looks slightly good, we've never had enough time to ever film a video, and we've always had to. I mean, I always have I'm filming it and see it in my head. It never comes out that way because you always have to cut a corner. But if you want like that cool crane shot, your actors have to stick around. You have to stick around, and you have to spend, an extra hour sometimes filming. There's a shot that in The Hangover. That the book shot of the Harvard professor that probably took 3 hours.
Really?
Because one, to set up the lights,
Just for one shot to come in, which I really liked, by the way. They had a shot of a guy talking on the phone. They had books set up, and the shot comes in the middle of the books, and it zooms in on his face. And I was like, that's really cool. Like, just to conceive of these shots, I'm always impressed because
conceiving
I can't
is
think
easy,
of that.
but you just have to find the research. I mean, you have to find the right room in the house. You have to find the place that looks like a thing. You have to hang pictures up. We had to pump so much light because that GoPro doesn't get. It does not film low light well at all, and it gets very grainy. So you have to pump as much light as you can. And then we couldn't watch it. When you do the GoPro, you have to put it onto the camera, download it, which takes an extra 5 or 10 minutes, and then watch it. And then, oh no, it's just a little bit off.
Oh man.
So you just have to keep doing that over and over and over again. And we weren't just doing that for 3 hours. We were talking a little bit and stuff. But
I got a question. So what's the goal with these videos? Like, how many? Do you have a lot of videos, and your goal is to make it to like X number? Is it to get so many views? Is it?
I mean, it's just. I mean, we both want to create, and we'd like to be getting paid for it. So I don't have to work at a coffee shop. You're not on unemployment.
you're going to be working out there forever.
I gotta just.
You'll be in a sitcom about working in a coffee
Right,
shop.
I got a pin the other day for my 2 years at this coffee shop.
Hey,
I was like,
congratulations.
oh, so I guess my
You're going to be manager someday. How do you feel about that?
No, they try to get that. I was like, oh, so I guess request for my gold bullet wasn't granted. I don't remember what was the question. Oh, no, the goal. Yeah, I mean,
to show your work,
to show our
yourself
work and like
what you do.
Ultimately, ideally, it'd be movies. I mean, movies would be the best. And then but if we can just get
platform, any type of artistic platform.
Any
I'd
type
love
of-
to do
yeah.
if I never did film, then I just did legitimate theater. I would be happy.
yeah. Or if we just created online and we got paid and we could live off it. I mean, I guess that could
Yeah,
be.
and I
you
can.
know.
I mean, I do love film. So if I was
Yeah.
doing just paid work, but I felt
Yeah.
good about it, but I always had to the studio comes in and you have to cut this line. It's like, all right, yeah, I'm getting paid. Okay, I'll do it.
Well, some of your videos on YouTube get really, really huge hits. Like, doesn't one have like 3 million or something like that?
Yeah, one of them does. I mean, that's the thing with the internet. It's 12-year-old boys, and so if you have a girl who's attractive in it, screenshot, and maybe her boobs are
featured, prominent.
her mammaries are featured prominently. Suddenly, they're a little more interested.
Is that the screenshot you get for the
Occasionally,
one
we'll do that.
there?
Yeah, I mean, even the one that we did today, it's a screenshot of the girl, because she's really pretty. So that'll help views. Yeah.
And you just have to get. It's not really. I mean, the internet. It's controlled. It's much more controlled now than it used to be. So it is. You're still going through like a corporation. You still have to all these social posting sites. They're moderated, and if you want to get some of them, most of the ones that get featured, you're paying for ad space. It's very controlled. So
it's kind of hard to genuinely like put something out and then have it really take
Blow
off.
up, yeah.
yeah, really.
It's sort of like
if you hear those stories, I mean, luck, I guess,
But mostly there's something behind it. It's a company that kind of put maybe their YouTube channel, and then the news will cover it. Hey, this crazy video.
like the Charlie bit his finger. That's featured on commercials now.
Yeah.
Have you monetized it yet? Have you-
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So you can figure out. You guys make money from YouTube,
Very little.
very little?
Oh yeah, very
Yeah.
very little.
like enough to buy a camera. Not yet.
Not yet. No.
Okay.
I just got depressed.
Yeah.
I have to,
Well, here's the
I have to
thing.
open tomorrow too.
We do videos here at GoCast. There's a video of this, and somebody could be watching it right now, and they're starting to put them on YouTube.
You know what?
Been on UStream mostly.
We just learned if we learn anything today, it's like 12-year-old boys love to see mammary glands.
Yeah.
Dick, can you please take off your sweatshirt? Come on, we could be getting some views.
That's right.
I'll do it if you do it.
Yeah, that's what 12-year-olds want to see is my sweaty tits.
Yeah.
But no, he'll zoom in.
That's my-
Jansen will zoom in
that's
so they don't
screen
know
name.
exactly whose they are.
And then we'll put lightning bolts in it.
They'll just see the word boobs, and they'll see the word dick and boobs, and then yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of hairy. I don't know.
Ugh.
And they're gray hairs.
I guess that's the thing. When you get older, all your hair just gets gray. Even on like your chest. I don't have a hair on my chest. I'm like a pubescent boy. But
I was talking to Darren about this the other day. Neither one of us have ever grown a beard, like a whole beard. And if I do start now, it comes in gray.
Oh, really?
I've gotten to the point. I missed the cool, when I could have had a cool beard stage.
here's the thing, though. Once you get older and you get that salt and pepper look, that's pretty sweet. Like Clooney rocks that. Like it's black and gray. And that's a good look.
I think you'll have it because you have dark hair, but I don't think Dick will have that salt and pepper.
No, you definitely won't. You're right.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
And mine is blonde when it comes in, so you can't even hardly see it either. So even to see I can't.
It just sounds gross.
Wait, are you sure that it's gray or it's just not a really light blonde?
Well, here's the thing. Like you seem to grow that mustache that you have overnight because
No, this took a long time.
Did it really?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, for me, when my hair grows in on my face, like in LA, everybody has this cool, 5-day shadow or whatever, 5 o'clock shadow.
He pointed at me.
I can't grow that because for it to even be seen, I have to really, really let it grow. So I have all these thin, long hairs that just look nasty. It looks like some kind of skeezy, swinger.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the cool actor. So people, I literally had a casting guy he goes, "You have butt face." And I went,
What's that mean?
And I'm
butt
fat.
face?
Thanks a lot.
I go, "What do you fuck you mean, butt face?" He goes, "You have baby bottom, smooth butt face." He goes, "You need to grow the 5 o'clock shadow like all the other actors in LA."
That's funny.
And I was like, "I can't."
This is all I can do. I can't grow a beard. Doesn't
Well, it looks
grow in
good.
here
You look
yet.
like an LA actor.
Oh, there you go. I'm a.
I
And
think
then
that was an insult.
And then no, it's not an insult. And then Alan's got the kind of porn stash going.
There's nothing. There's no other reason than to have people laugh at me. That's.
So you're growing up because it's funny?
Yeah, I mean, it's character. It's funny. It's definitely not attractive, which is a shame.
It doesn't look unattractive. Oh, this got weird. Anyway,
It didn't get weird. You were just telling the truth.
so guys, thank you very much for coming in, and thank you for letting me be in your videos. And I'd love to do any more anytime you can use me.
No, for sure. Thanks for having us. It was a lot of fun. We talked.
Where can we find you on YouTube? Where can we?
Just you can Google it. Just go to
Google?
Well, it's Third String Kicker.
THIRD.
And on Facebook it's Third String Kicker Comedy, and the actual URL for the YouTube is actually Good Looking. But if you type in Third String Kicker, our video should pop up.
It'll pop up for sure. Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. How come when I watch one of your videos and it says you may also like these videos, none of the other videos that I'm in pops up, like the Santa one and the elevator one?
The
pop
Santa
up.
one
You guys
does
control that?
Yeah, but the Santa one doesn't because it's seasonal.
Yeah, obviously.
But the Hangover pops up. What's the other one you were in?
Elevator sketch, which got a lot of views.
I might have popped in.
got more.
I think it popped in one of them, but it was like I said, it's a niche one.
Okay.
And-
Well, the Hangover one got 4,000 views in one day, so thank you for everybody that watched that. It's up to 7,000 now if you want to watch that. I think it's really funny, but then I'm in it, so I'm kind of prejudiced that way. But I like all your videos. I'm always like, God, I wish I was in this one. God, I wish I was in this one. This one's hilarious. I like the sexting one you guys just did.
That was my least favorite one.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I just didn't think it was very funny.
I thought it was great all the way through.
Well, I mean, that's being really honest. When I put it out, it's like, oh my God, I'm really terrified. People are just going to trash it, and we're going to lose subscribers.
It was one of our favorite popular ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least-
I thought your acting was really funny, the way you reacted with those girls and everything.
Yeah.
Is that something people do? They look forward, like they get into once they start watching your videos, they're like, all right, next Tuesday or Monday or whatever, the new video's coming out.
I go online every.
He responds to every.
I respond to every comment.
I used to do it, and then I gave the job to him.
Yeah, and I thank you. Everyone, we have a core group that comments
That's
every
cool.
time, yeah. And then it's really funny when you get the angry ones, because then I like to tease them and really try to prod them.
And they're also on different sites like 9gag and
Yeah,
other
those-
things that
yeah.
I've never even heard of. But you guys put them out on everything that'll carry it, right?
We try.
That's good. You're getting it out there. I think you guys' stuff is great. And
Where can we find you on
remember
Twitter?
me when you're famous.
Where can we find you on Twitter?
What is it? Third string.
Third String Kick.
Yeah.
Third
There's
String
not enough letters.
Kick. Okay,
Kick.
cool. I'm at Darren Carter. He's Dangerous Dick, D-I-K. And hopefully we'll see some of our listeners at the Burbank Flappers Yoo-Hoo Room, May 9th, 9:30.
That's going to be fun.
I'm coming for you, Ontario, April 4th, El Paso, May 3rd, 4th, and Pittsburgh, May 17th, 18th, Akron, Ohio, Stockton, California. I'll be there.
Please subscribe. We want to have you as a subscriber. We really appreciate it if you do that. It's absolutely free. Do it while it's free, because it might not be free forever. And you can hit me up at my email, which is dangerousdickshow@gmail.com. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Danny from Third String Kicker. And thank you, Jansen, here at GoCast. We'll see you next time. It's the Dick and Darren Comedy Podcast.
Dick,
and
Darren Carter
Comedy Podcast.
Get your jollies. Gong.